But before next phase came about, I actually am a psychology degree graduate, and I have some background in mental health. Um, Before that, say before the restaurant and in between and doing, I'm gonna say that I use cooking a lot at home, not when I'm here, but when I'm home, it's kind of like the kitchen is my place of peace. That's where I come and wind down. That might sound weird considering I'm in a restaurant about 24/7, but like I said, I don't get to really cook a lot here. I'm doing all of the boring stuff, the paperwork and all the admin. So when I go home, I like to cook and it's really relaxing.
All right. So you want to get them started with what the first thing is, first instruction?
Yeah. So the first thing I would need for you guys to do is actually open up your flatbread. I'm gonna take out the flatbread. And if you have an oven pan, you can use it. I'm using an oven pan, but at home, it's not necessarily a need. You can actually lay your flatbread on your kitchen counter or your table, as long as you clean the surface. So I have a rectangular one, and I see there has a round one. Doesn't matter, they're gonna cook the same. All right, so now that everyone has their flatbread on your pan or on your table, the first thing we are going to do is take the barbecue sauce. So you have your barbecue sauce. That's here, you can open it up. Everyone at home, I'm gonna give you time to open up your barbecue sauce. So you can pretty much go freestyle. With the barbecue sauce, there is no exact measurement. I'm going to use maybe about 4 ounces or so, but it's to your liking. If you like your pizza really saucy, then you probably want to put a little extra. So we're gonna start by putting some barbecue sauce on the flatbread. So you can squirt yours on so everyone at home will see you doing it directly out the bottom. That's good. You can take your utensil, your spoon, your scoop, whichever one you have, and even if you're just using a tablespoon at home, that is fine. So you're going to spread it around. Let me catch up and get some barbecue sauce on here. So you're gonna spread it evenly. And again, it's to your liking. If you usually eat your pizza saucy, you might wanna have a lot of barbecue sauce on yours. I don't like to eat sloppy foods. I don't like when sauces are dripping when I'm eating, so I won't put as much barbecue sauce on mine. All right. You have enough? Yeah. If you want to add some more, go ahead. So I'm going to give everyone at home a chance to get your barbecue sauce spread.
Okay, Tamika, while that's going on, I want you to talk a little bit about some of the things we talked about regarding what you had to overcome really since COVID. Um, just give a little bit of your story, and then some of the things that you started to do afterwards to help yourself.
Okay. So my story is more so a testimony. So back in December of 2021, when the world seemed like it was coming to an end and everyone everywhere was catching COVID, I caught COVID for the third time, not the first or the second. This was my third time catching it. And it was during the time that the new strand, Omicron, had came out. So I had all of the typical COVID symptoms, the shortness of breath, the awful sore throat, the coughing, sweating, the body aches, all of that stuff, all of the normal symptoms. But right when I was at the end of quarantine and thought that I was getting ready to see freedom again, I suddenly had my very first drop seizure. I was in my house. I don't remember exactly what I was doing, but I was standing in my living room and I was talking to someone. And at this point, the rest of my symptoms had cleared up. So I thought I was about to be outside again. And I was talking, and all of a sudden I felt lightheaded and I like just fell to the floor. But before I felt lightheaded, I remember it seemed as if someone kind of took me and like flipped me upside down. It just seemed like everything just turned sideways. And next thing I knew, I was on the floor. So at that point, I kind of ignored it. I thought, that's strange. I must be dehydrated because, a lot of times we ignore our bodies. And also, sometimes we're in disbelief because at that time, like I said, I was getting ready to come out of quarantine. So I really just wanted to get out of the house again. So I ignored it, drank some water, went about my day. But it happened again the next day. And it happened again the next day. And we went for a week of me having drop seizures. Initially, of course, I did not know that I was having a seizure. I went to the emergency room on day 2 because afterwards, the dizziness did not go away. I went to the emergency room again at a different hospital the following week. And then I went to the emergency room again the week after that. So we're talking about 3 weeks of me having all of these odd symptoms. I did not fall out each and every time, but I was experiencing these symptoms of dizziness and just feeling disoriented. Fast forward, I came back to work. I went back to my regular life. I did notice that I still would feel strange some days. But one day after a very long day of work, I went home, talking maybe late night around 11 p.m.-ish, was finally about to eat because sometimes, unfortunately, even though we own a restaurant, we don't eat. We're running around working all day. So I was finally getting ready to have a meal, sat down, and when I went to eat, I went to lift up my utensils so that I could take a bite out of my food. And it felt like my arm weighed 1,000 pounds. Like I couldn't get my arm to my face. So I tried another arm. And again, it was being in denial and being neglectful to my body. I'm thinking, okay, I need some water. Because for some reason, every time something's wrong with me, I think I need water or ginger ale. So I tried to grab some water. And it felt like the water weighed a ton. Couldn't get the water to my face. Then I started feeling really dizzy. I got up, tried to make my way to the couch, and I collapsed. And that was that. So that particular day, I had a regular day at work. By midnight, I was paralyzed from, my whole body initially. I couldn't talk. I couldn't swallow, couldn't move any of my limbs. Of course, 911 was called eventually. And from that, I ended up in weeks in rehab, learning how to walk again. I had to eventually make my way. Let me back up. I went from being, I'm not going to say 100% healthy because I already had started having these symptoms somewhere around January, but I went from being able to walk and move around like a regular person to being in a wheelchair, just like that.
Okay, I'm gonna hold that point right there. So in conversation wise, how did you transition? Like, how did you, you know, you seemed like you were doing everything before that. You were running a restaurant. You were actually doing physical therapy and PRP, all of that work. You were kind of being superwoman.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that affected you a lot. Before we answer that, though, let's go ahead and go to the next part of the food.
Yeah, so the next thing that we're going to do is grab your cheese. Some of you may have mixed cheese, like a Mexican blend or a Colby Jack or cheddar blend, and some of you might have mozzarella. So we're gonna do it both ways. I have a mixed cheese and Nasir has mozzarella cheese, which is the typical cheese you'll see on your pizza. So we're gonna sprinkle some cheese. And again, this is to your liking.
Motion detected at the GMT
I don't like a lot of cheese.
1
Well, I'll take that back. I love cheese, but cheese doesn't love me. So I'm not gonna put a thick layer of cheese. I'm gonna do a thin layer.
Excuse me.
To your liking.
1 second, we have a question. What's the question?
So we just joined a couple minutes ago, so we don't know where y'all at.
Okay.
Okay, so can you just give a summary of where you at cooking wise? Like,
Sure. So fortunately, you did not miss a whole lot. So we're gonna start with the flatbread. You can open up your flatbread and place it on your pan or on your counter. And once you have your flatbread out, you are going to add barbecue sauce to your liking. So you're just gonna use your scoop or your spoon, or if you have a bottle, you can squirt it directly onto your flatbread, and you're just gonna spread it around with your spoon. And put as much as you like.
you got it?
And once you have your barbecue sauce on, you'll be caught up with us. We're now adding the cheese to your liking. So there's no specific amount of cheese. You're just gonna pick it up and sprinkle it across your flatbread. Put as much as you like.
So one of our guests says, Ola says, we pour into everyone and leave ourselves empty. Self-preservation is the key. What's your thoughts about that, Tamika?
So I'm one of those people who will tell everybody else in the world that and still not listen and take my own advice. So yes, if we don't pour into ourselves, we're just gonna keep giving and giving and giving until you have nothing left to give. So it was a hard lesson. And unfortunately, I've learned it several times and I'm a repeat offender.
So are we actually, did you finish with the next instruction before we go to the next part of the discussion? Did you finish with the next instruction?
Yeah, so
I didn't know.
Continue with the next. Would you like for me to add another ingredient or talk a little bit more?
Let's add another ingredient.
All right, so everyone has their cheese on their flatbread. So next, we're going to add the chicken. So again, it's to your liking. So everyone at home has a pack of pre-cooked chicken. So Nasir is gonna cut his open. Be careful. Okay. And I know these are so. And if you don't have scissors at home, you can cheat like I do. When I'm at home, I don't have all the same cooking tools that I have when I'm in a restaurant. I just take a knife, but do it safely, please. Okay, let's see if we can get it open. I still can't, so I'm gonna cut the zipper part. My nails are too long. There we go. That's good enough. Thank you. You're welcome. And I'm so sorry. So once you have your chicken over there, I had a little bit of a struggle. So I want to give you guys some time as well. That's in case you had it as rough as I just did. And once your chicken is open, you're just going to add chicken to your liking. Again, there's no set amount. You want yours to be very meaty. And you want to spread it across your chicken. I mean, across your flatbread, rather. Save some room because we have One last ingredient.
All right.
All
All
right.
right. So let's pick up where we left off. So you have gone from essentially being someone who was really active to all of a sudden now you're paralyzed. And you have to wait. Now, obviously, you're here now, so you got back. But what was that? What was that in between time? Like, how long did you have to wait? And then what did you experience during that time? And what helped you to keep your mindset positive during that time?
Wow. So considering that I have a mental health background, it's totally different when things are reversed and things are happening to you. Of course, I've had some other things that may have happened along the way in life. Life be life sometimes. But at that particular time, I want to say the first couple of days, it was kind of almost like I was in denial. I was in disbelief. I was alone because this was during COVID time. You couldn't have visitors like you can in a hospital as we are right now. They were starting to allow visitors, but I believe at the time you only could have one person in the room. And so, and it was only during particular hours. It was some crazy hours. Basically, they didn't want you to have people in the hospital. But anyway, moving along. I spent a lot of time alone while I was in the hospital. And I can't say that I was happy Dory. I was really in disbelief. And I spent a lot of time like just staring. I stared at my feet and my toes a lot because my brain was saying move, but my body was not cooperating with me. So I just remember spending a lot of times, and then I went from speaking to myself in my head to actually saying it out loud. Like I kept talking to myself, like move your feet, move your feet, move your feet. But I was very depressed, very sad. I live a very active life. Anyone who's in the hospitality business knows that you're always moving. It's a fast-paced environment. So it was devastating to say the least to basically, I can't even say I went to sleep and woke up that way. I literally went home from work one night and things changed in a matter of 15 to 20 minutes. At some point, I'm a positive person and I'm always being positive to everyone else. So at some point, I did try to check myself a little bit, but the reality was that I still couldn't walk. So I want to say the first week that I was in the hospital, I was sad. At the time, I felt like, what is everyone going to treat me like now? What is my life like if I'm like this forever? What am I going to do for my career? What am I going to do moving forward? I had a lot of questions. How am I going to get in my house? Because I have to walk up steps to get in the house. I only have a bathroom on the second level. So I was literally spending a lot of time thinking about all of the negativities and just how I was going to be able to move forward in my daily activities of daily living.
Yeah. So we're gonna stop right there again, and we're gonna go to the next, see where everyone is at the food. Let's make sure everybody is caught up. If anybody's not caught up, you can let us know if you have any questions or any comments about the story or a similar story. You can actually make a chat or we'll share your chat as well. And you can go ahead and talk about the next part of the dish.
All right, so we are at the final ingredient, which is our mixed peppers. So you can open your peppers. Now, a lot of you might not like green red peppers. If you do not, that's just fine. You can skip this step. But this is kind of getting close to the grand finale. So I love peppers and onions. I like veggies. And I pretty much, when I'm cooking here, when I make myself something to eat, I think I add peppers and onions because they're going near everything. So if you're like me, you get stuff a good plentiful amount. If not, that's fine. Some might think this is too many. And you're gonna spread them across your flatbread. And the very last step, before it goes in the oven, we're just gonna take a little bit of the barbecue sauce and we're gonna give it a little drizzle over your flatbread really quickly. If I was in the back, I would have a squirt bottle. That's how we cheat. And this is just so you have a little bit of barbecue layer on top of your chicken and your vegetable. So I'm gonna give everyone a little bit of time.
And while we're giving time, let's check on Brother Nasir's. He's got a round flatbread and it looks like he is doing his thing as well. Look at that.
That's gonna be delicious.
All right, I just wanted to spotlight that real quick.
I'm gonna swap gloves.
Okay, so next. All right, so you talked about the dark moments, right? So let's talk about some tools to get out of those dark moments, because I'm sure we have a lot of people here who've had experiences where, you know, you were in one place, next thing you know, you're in another place. Let's talk to us about some of the things you did to help yourself through those dark moments. I also have a question, just, you know, from a therapeutic standpoint, you having that experience. You know, they talk a lot about how positive thought and positive actions can help your health. Talk a little bit about if that played into your recovery as well.
That definitely played into my recovery. I'm gonna say fast forward maybe about 2 weeks in, when it finally settled that, you know, this is really happening. I still can't walk. I really can't stand up. Eventually I didn't add the part that eventually I did get the feeling back from the waist up, but from the waist down, I remained paralyzed. So once I was able to gain feeling and be able to write and all of that again, that happened pretty quickly. That was within a week's time. At that point, I determined that I wasn't going to be in a wheelchair. That wasn't the life I wanted to live now. So I want to say that still might be denial. I don't want to say that I wasn't accepting the fact that I might be in a wheelchair. In my mind, I made up my mind that I was going to be walking. I was going to make my legs move. As I mentioned earlier, I would literally look at my legs, look at my feet and my toes every day, and I would just keep trying to. It almost felt like I was straining to a certain degree, that I was trying to make some type of movement happen. But ways that I got to that point, I want to say, was number one, positive thoughts, because I couldn't sit around and continue to be depressed or thinking about the what has, what ifs. I had to move forward. Meditation helps a lot. Fortunately and unfortunately, I was in a hospital and I was forced to be by myself. So I had a lot of time with my alone thoughts. So I really just had to refocus my mind. Depending on whether or not you're religious, did a lot of praying. I categorized that with meditating. But that was the most important thing, really just retraining my brain. And I believe that me retraining my brain is exactly how I was able to walk again. If you keep sitting around, moping around saying, I can't, then you can't. I grew up, I was raised to say, I can. I was not allowed to say that I cannot. Anytime I said I can't do something as a child, my parents would correct me, or they would say, what did you say? And I would be like, oh, but I can't do it. What did you say? And so it was the same thing in the hospital. I kind of heard my parents in my head as well when I was home. Having positive people around you also makes a huge difference. I had my parents well, my whole family support while I was in the hospital. So I had nothing but prayer warriors and strong positive words coming my way.
All right. That is a good testimony. So I wanna and speaking of that, like this is just to speak on that, like that's literally the mantra of Keys. Is what Keys tries to do, is tries to put positive people around, everyone, so they can have that kind of experience. Because we're all going through things at different times. So let's just make sure we're checking in on the cooking. Make sure everybody's caught up. If anybody has any questions or any comments, please, you can write them in the chat, or you can ask them here. And Tamika, you can go ahead and give more commentary on what's going on with the food.
All right, so we are at the end with the pizza. The very last step is to put your pizza in the oven. So I've been talking, but what I did not tell you guys to do is to preheat your oven. So might need to give people a little bit of time to preheat their oven before we pop ours in. Maybe another 5 minutes.
Okay. So we can if people haven't preheated the oven, let's go ahead and preheat the oven. And while we're doing that, we can go a little bit more in conversation. And Speed says, God bless you all. God bless you too, Speed. So
I wanted to add, preheat your oven to 425 degrees.
Preheat your oven to 425 degrees. Let's remember that, okay? Preheat your oven to 425 degrees. Unique Skyron says, thank you for sharing your story and thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Okay, so while we're on this break, I want to take a little bit of time and talk about what Keys is doing and what we're trying to do with Keys, right? So obviously there's the mental health help that Keys is providing, especially specifically to the youth. But also we're now opening up a section where we are offering a medical resource. And this is really important because, and it speaks to what Tamika was talking about, because most of the time, especially our people, we've had bad experiences with doctors. There's a percentage rate of doctors prescribing, let's say, diagnosis and treatments maybe that are extreme. And so we've partnered with an organization called Whole Care. And what Whole Care is a medical clinic where you can have your primary care physician, but you don't have to worry about being prescribed loads of medicine at first. They're going to try to make sure you have preventative methods. And we're going to send you information about Whole Care. And then our doctors at Whole Care will be first focused on your health and your well-being naturally before anything else is added. So I just wanted to say that. And then we have a couple of comments that come in and I'm going to speak about really. First, there's a question that we're going to ask. Before I ask the question, I'm going to acknowledge the Williams family for a beautiful looking picture of the food that they have made. And I'm going to have to show you this, Tamika, afterwards, because it's a beautiful spread we got here from the Williams family. So thank you for sharing that picture. We're going to see if we can get this on Instagram. Now the question is, and I'm going to bring you back on. The question is, and I would love for Tamika to have give an answer. Is there anything you learned from your experience in the hospital that you still use in your coping or grief process to this day?
Number one is be your own advocate. I'm not going to say that I had a pleasant experience in the beginning. I was kind of a medical mystery in the beginning, and I really had to advocate for myself. Initially, they were going to discharge me from the hospital, from the emergency room, not being able to walk. Seemed like it wasn't a big concern to the doctor that I was walking around and running just 12 hours prior to being in the hospital. So I had to advocate for myself to actually be admitted, number one, and also to have some tests ran so that they could actually try to diagnose me or figure out what in the world was going on with me. So that's not necessarily a coping mechanism, but as far as having a strong mind, that's a part of that. You have to how to remain strong-minded in order to get what you need done while you're in the hospital and advocate for yourself.
All right. Okay, come back one real quick. All right. So you think that 5 minutes is up? You ready to try to figure out what we're gonna do about what's next?
So the very next step is for us to pop these bad boys in the oven, and it's gonna take about 12 minutes or so at the least, depending on your oven at home and the wattage and how powerful it is. It should
Okay.
take about 12 to 15 minutes to cook.
So we're gonna put is everyone ready to put theirs in the oven? If so, we're gonna do that. I think I'm going to actually follow Ms. Tamika, if it's okay, to the oven. We're gonna watch, we're gonna go we're in the restaurant, you know, again, we think Next Phase, I wanna make sure I shout out Next Phase again on Lexington Street. So please come out whenever you're around, especially, it's like, we all gotta go to jury duty. But even beyond that, the food is really good. It's one of the best soul food in Baltimore. So we wanna get there, right? Have great crab cakes, great catfish, great Southern fried chicken. Fried shrimp, I know because I bought it all, right? I've been here a lot, right? So they want to let you know that. So we're gonna go ahead and go to the oven. So just give us 1 second when we go to the oven. And if anyone needs to put this in the oven, now's the time to do so. Before we go though, we have another comment that I want to read. Actually, I'll do it right after we come back from the oven. So let's go 1 second.
I'm gonna take
Let's move to
yours also. I don't want to take you through. It's a little liability.
So we'll pause it and go into the oven. You can take it.
Ready for me to go?
Huh?
Ready for me to go.
All right, stay right there. Yes. You stay right there. All right. All right.
You doing a boomerang?
All right, let's go.
All right. Coming around. There's a flip door, and I wanted to flip it in face, so I want to go through backwards. Right. So we're heading to the back. Right. Check me over. Oh, they have the other thing here. They were yeah. Yeah. We're gonna leave these in the oven. We're gonna start off with 12 minutes. I know everyone's oven does not cook the same, so we're gonna check ours here at 12 minutes, and everyone else can check at 12 minutes. So if you have a watch, you can tell your watch to set the timer. Hearing. Hearing, set the timer for 12 minutes. All right, we're gonna go back. Right, can you check it? Can you check it at 12 minutes, please? Thank you. So. So if you're like me, I like to clean up as I go along. If I was at home right now, I would be clearing up my chicken, my cheeses, the barbecue sauce, the wiping down the counter, zipping the bags back up and putting away the ingredients. And maybe washing off my spoon. But for time's sake, we're gonna leave this here.
Talk a little bit about advocating for your medical needs and the importance of that. Someone mentioned it in a comment.
So I have two replies to that. So number one, a lot of people do not know there is actually what is called a patient advocate or patient services available in every hospital that you go to. Most of the time, they do not offer up that information, but I know. So if you're ever in the hospital and you feel like you're being wrongly discharged, or you feel as though they need to do a specific test and they refuse to do it, or you just feel like you're being mistreated, you can ask to speak with the patient advocate. They will come to your room and you will voice all of your concerns. And one thing I know from this experience and just having a lot of medical conditions is that you're not always going to get the help that you feel like you deserve. Everyone deserves healthcare, right? All people are not the same. So you have nice nurses, you might have a tired nurse, you might have a mean-spirited person, you never know. So you're not going to get the same care from all of your nurses. If you feel like you're not getting the proper care from someone in particular, you can also speak to a patient advocate about that. So when I said I asked for a patient advocate, that's what I meant exactly. I asked for that person and I voiced all of my complaints. Now, my second reply is also just to piggyback off of what you said earlier about medications. A lot of times there isn't any there really isn't some type of answer or diagnosis for you. A lot of times it says, here, take this. You might have a pain in your neck for a long time and they're just giving you ibuprofen or giving you Tylenol and sending you home, but you might have a problem with the nerve or something. It hasn't been investigated any further because there weren't any further testing. So just to piggyback off of what you said and receiving medical care without the medications. Before I got to that point of being temporarily paralyzed, I had tried maybe about 3 or 4 different medications, but it turned out in the end I was being treated for a condition I never had to begin with. So you always want to advocate for yourself, check the medication. The doctor might tell you what it means, but you can also fact check. We have the World Wide Web at our fingertips. You can literally Google your medication and see what it's typically prescribed for and what the side effects are. A lot of times you might get side effects from medication that you don't realize the medication is actually causing. So another way of advocating for yourself is also to not just jump to take medication, because sometimes the medication is just hiding your problem. It's not really correcting it. And that's what happened in my case in this particular situation.
Thank you so much. And I want to acknowledge we have some pictures of now some finished products Um, um, and also some going into the oven, so everyone is keeping up, which we love to see. And just to go back, into that conversation again, one of the things we recognize at Keys and Powers is that medical and mental health is very connected, right? And they're very close to each other, which is why we're trying to make sure that we advocate for resources for both. One, to make sure you're healthy, right? To make sure you're diagnosed properly, but then, maybe to offer other resources and the alternatives for that, because it also obviously plays into how your doctor can play into how you feel about yourself too. If they're always telling you that always giving you these diagnoses and you feel like you're not, you're never going to get better or you're going to have to rely on them, and we want to kind of come with balance. It's good to go to doctors, good to make sure your health is good. But we also want to have people that we trust, which is why we're kind of getting into, okay, we want to make sure that we find doctors in our community who are from us, who care about more than just the paycheck. They also care about the people as well. So I want to say, I'm going to read a comment. It says, "Thank you for your testimony. It's an eye opener. I'm glad that advocates were available so that you could be here for us." That's what Ramona Wilson said. And again, I want to thank Eric for his picture. They are tearing it up. Let's see what else we got. We got any other pictures on here? And I think it's time. Actually, I want to speak to our. See if we can speak to our guest for a little bit. It's been a minute. He thought he was going to get away with just being able to cook, but that's not going to be the case. So, Brother Nasir, man. So one, how's it feel to have that meal in there? And what do you think is going to happen? Like, when you think about the meal, you think it's going to be good?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be good.
Yeah, yeah. Learn anything today about from the conversation?
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about what you learned and how you process it.
It's just like important to advocate for yourself, especially like in the healthcare. But yeah,
Yeah.
And that can apply to life all around, not just in the medical field. So that's a very important lesson you picked up.
Advocating for yourself is one of the most important things we will have to do as people, especially us, because we're actually taught a lot that we're supposed to get sloppy seconds. We're supposed to get the less, right? So it's really important. That's why this lesson is really important. It doesn't really matter what it is. Can you think about a time where you had to advocate for yourself at a time where it was like, okay, I got to speak up, because if I don't, this isn't going to get done.
probably in class, yeah.
Talk about it.
In a class project, we weren't really getting a lot done, and I had to kind of tell everybody to just like focus and get it done.
Okay. That's a good one too, because we like to be cool in class. But the cool one doesn't accomplish as much. So that's what's up. That's what's up. How many minutes we got left, Tamika?
So maybe about 3 minutes.
About 3 minutes left?
Yeah.
Okay. How's everybody? Does everybody have their food in the oven now? Is everybody waiting for it to be done now? Let me know.
Salad.
Let me know. We do have a salad. Here's our salad. Get our little salad. So how you want to do salad? You want to talk about the salad a little bit?
Yeah, so I actually forgot to bring a bowl over here. So I'm gonna just put it on a plate since I have a plate here. Improvise. I'm gonna improvise. I could have asked. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. I'm gonna just do this. I'm gonna put this in the middle of us. Okay.
You can't give me the camera. It's okay.
So if you have some scissors, now's the time to bring them back out. Or if you are an adult, you can use, just be careful because adults cut themselves too. Ask me how I know.
How do you know?
Wow, so I'm also the part-time restaurant nurse here, because we do get kitchen injuries.
What don't you do?
We have a lot of gauze, a lot of Band-Aids, a lot of peroxide and all that good stuff, a lot of triple antibiotics, ointment in the back. All right. So if you have your salad bag, shake it just a little bit. Just hold the top and do a little shake just so that the other packets inside will fall down and we don't cut them. And you don't have to really do it neat, but cut it in the middle. Yeah, a little bit. There. I might be making it more awkward by holding it. Okay. This bag, we might be the bus. I don't want to show y'all my true strength today, so we're gonna use the scissors. Okay. So this is a salad kit, so it has everything you need inside of it. This is a Caesar salad, which is a nice basic salad to accompany any pizza or flatbread. Inside of your kit, we have another bag. You might get a little lettuce falling off, but this is your Caesar dressing and your croutons also enclosed. So we're just gonna take a little of the romaine. Again, it's to your liking. I have a nice salad bowl here, so I have good amount. I'm just gonna sprinkle your salad into your bowl. And pop open your other bag that has your cheese, your romaine. I said your romaine, I'm sorry, your dressing for your romaine. The crouton. So everyone should have these 3 products inside their bag. So first we're gonna add the cheese.
I might have punched this.
So a Caesar salad typically has white cheese. Every now and then I might have someone who asks for a different type of cheese when they call in a restaurant. This is Parmesan shreds, but you can use any type of white cheese. If this wasn't a salad kit and you were at the market, you could buy some Asiago, Parmesan, Monterey Jack, whatever you like, but it's typically some type of white cheese. I'm not gonna put, they're kind of stingy with the cheese packets when you do a salad kit. I'm not gonna use all of it because it's meant to go over the entire pack of romaine lettuce. And next we have a crouton. If you're on a diet or counting your carbs, you can skip the crouton.
You had a question? I heard someone say they had a question.
Want me to pause?
No, it's fine. If they can ask, if you're gonna ask your question, you can ask it. Why should you continue on?
And we're just gonna sprinkle a little bit crouton on. And we're going to save the dressing for last because we don't want the salad to get soggy. So everyone check your pizzas. Check to see if the crust has begun to brown in the corners and see if your cheese has melted. And I'm going to actually yell in the back for them to check mine really quickly.
Okay.
Chef Leroy,
While we are
how's the
waiting,
pizza in the back? It's ready.
Tamika,
All right.
want to make sure that the pizza is ready. Just want to again field any questions. I thought I heard someone say something. So now is the time. Or any comments, any commentary, or even if you had any stories that were similar, where you're still trying to overcome something and you need some assistance, please let us know. Everybody who's on the Zoom, you have some number of keys. You need to make sure if you're going through something to text, Keys has resources and an unbelievable amount of resources. If Keys can't do it, we can point you to someone who can. It's important that you, we're not just doing this so that as a one-off. We're doing this so that you can know that there are people out here who can give you more resources for what you need. So make sure, just text the number that gave you, the same number that gave you the Zoom information. Make sure you text somebody with that so you can get the help you need. Because every single one of us, you know, none of us can do this life thing alone. So just wanted to say that while we're waiting. We have
So everyone, I was getting ready to grab the pizza.
I'm gonna grab the pizza. All right, go ahead. You can go ahead.
Okay.
You can go ahead.
All right.
So, you know, one of the things for people who don't know where the resources are, if you go to peasempowers.org, you can go to the contact form and make sure that you know, if you have any questions. I'm sure you know Miss Asia, or Miss Courtney, or Monica, or Mr. Muhammad, or your advocate. Make sure, you know, whatever question you have about resources, you never know. But the one thing I want to reiterate, especially for this one, is one of the things with the medical, like we have an alarming amount of
family
mortality issues. And when I say that, that means Black people tend to die more in hospitals based on things that other people don't die for.
coming around hot.
And that's not on accident,
Coming around hot.
right? And we believe that's a combination of stress from the way we're treated by doctors, as well as just not being given the same amount of care. So we're working on that as well. So I'm going to go back to Tamika, who has now brought in a finished pizza. I can't wait to show it to y'all.
It is hot, so be careful, okay?
Okay.
All right, so we have the finished flatbread. Depending on your oven. Everyone should be wrapping up by now. Has everyone had a chance to pull theirs out the oven?
Let's see. Is everybody just about finished? If not, do you need any help or have any questions? But looks like we got some people who are going to their ovens now. I can see that. Yeah, looks like we got people.
Yeah.
All right. So what we got here, Tamika?
Yes, you can select the rest. No, they can select the rest of them in the back. So we have the rest of the family's pizza in the back.
So
Cut out later.
let's explain our look. Let's explain what just happened here. What's the recap?
So we have baked a barbecue chicken flatbread. This is the finishing product. Depending on your oven, some might have needed to leave theirs in, but your crust should be browning on the end. I like my crust crispy, so I like mine's brown a little bit darker than some might like. Yours is a little dark on some side, light on the other side. You might need to turn yours also if you have it still cooking.
So I'm gonna tell you, we have some amazing pictures. Everybody looks like they're doing their thing. And I'm sitting and download all these pictures right now that we got. We probably had the most pictures we've ever had of a finished product. So I'm excited about that. So shout out to Jesse and Williams families who just posted theirs. That's all right. You didn't have to add the peppers if you said one Sunday and want peppers. That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. Not everybody wants peppers.
And you can add extra stuff the next time around if you want. You can add spinach or different vegetables, onions, anchovies, whatever you like. We chose the basic red, green peppers.
All right. So we are just about to wrap up now our culinary therapy. And is there if you don't have any questions or comments, you got anything from it, now is the time. Any more pictures, I'm grabbing your pictures now.
And don't forget to drizzle your dressing over your salad when you're about to eat. That's the very last thing to do.
All right, let's go ahead and top that salad off right quick.
I'm just gonna cut a corner of the pouch so that we can drizzle. And again, it's to your liking. There's no right or wrong amount of salad dressing.
Right.
Now, if you come down the next page and you're gonna see the salad, you're gonna get some of our homemade cornbread croutons topped on top of your salad. I didn't bring those out because I want everybody's food to look alike.
Right. We got a comment from Williams family saying, thanks so much. We really love that. Hey man, we really love these comments. How do you upload pictures? If you go to the chat, can someone explain? You should be able to go to the chat and there's a way you can upload pictures. You know what? I mean, never upload.
You're gonna be downloading, right?
We get them all, right? And from Eric, thank you so much. We really enjoy these sessions with my girls, helps me get through my week. That's awesome. Those kind of comments help us to continue to do this. We like to know that we're being effective. So thank you. Thank you for coming and staying the whole time. Keys family, if you can't upload the picture, maybe what you can do is email, and we'll put it on our Instagram, email info@keysempowers.org. I'm gonna put it in the chat. We would love to see, media@keysempowers.org. That's what we want you to email. As a matter of fact, everyone, if you can email media@keysempowers.org or text the number who sent you the Zoom link. Sticks in there in the group chat. So it's right there. Text the number. Oh, Jesse, this is another one. Oh, we have such a great variety of. All right, shout out to Ramona and Jesse now for giving us more pictures. What a great variety of pictures that we have. I'm so proud of y'all, man, for real. It says tap the chat button, the photo and the file will appear and hit photo. That's what Ola said. And if you can, again, even if you can, please email these pictures to media@keysempowers.org. We're gonna feature these on our Instagram for the next Culinary Therapy. We want to show off y'all's work. Oh man, I can't wait. And Ola Hall just sent in. If you could come see this variety, to me, you'd be proud.
All right, I can't wait to see them.
To you afterwards. And so just to let you know, show your pictures, I'm gonna let Tamika give commentary on it. We'll be back at next phase for the next Culinary Therapy as well. So yeah, Ola is being fancy. He said he'd be fancy. He definitely was fancy on this one. Can't wait to show you that. So if there's any more comments about, I would love to give Tamika the floor when it comes to just capping off again or reiterating anything regarding the need for therapy. We got an iPhone, Monica. Oh man, amazing! Another amazing picture.
Not
I
an
think I'm gonna get a picture from everyone. This is a first. This is a first.
I'm gonna take these.
Thank you, Monica. This is awesome. I knew, Monica, I knew yours was gonna be great. This is a first. Right over to here. So
Hey Raven, can you cut these, please? Coming through, yeah.
You want to start all up?
Yeah,
so Bessie says,
I was saying the other
I
ones
work
could be
with the
cut.
Jeremiah
These weren't ready to be
organization.
cut yet.
I took this class to family. I
I'll
work
cut it
with
into
the
as many
strategies
slices
for
as you
myself.
can.
And
You
encourage
should
me-
cut the,
we just look
cut the
at
rectangle one in front.
It's all beautiful resources for the family. 100%, 100%. We want to thank you. We want to thank you, Monica. Also, Monica, who is commenting here, does a great job of coordinating this whole thing behind the scenes. So without Monica, this doesn't happen. So we appreciate you right back, Monica.
I cheated. I took the pieces that get cut in the kitchen.
You cheat, yeah, because we're about to get some. I'm about to have some. I'm definitely about to have some. All right, so we're gonna end this off now. If you have any last words about, I would love for you to just have last words specifically about, advocating for yourself. It's really important. I think if there's anything I take from this is just through this, I'll remove myself actually. Just leave it to you. So through this whole thing, right? What I take from it, I'm gonna tell you what I take from it, right? I take from it that pain is gonna be there, right? And it's really how we respond to it, right?
Absolutely.
And how we would advocate through it, right?
Absolutely.
So just give us that last word.
Last word is always believe in yourself, number one, because if you don't believe in you, how are you going to convince others to believe in you? You are your number one advocate, and no one knows you as well as you know you. So the takeaway from this is to always advocate for yourself and really believe in yourself. Your mind is the most powerful thing in your entire body. The brain is the most strongest organ in your entire body. Your entire body is being controlled by your brain. So you can start by changing your whole entire mindset.
All right. So we want to thank everyone for coming to another Culinary Therapy, and we will see you all soon. Y'all have a good day. And again, thank you so much for this food, for showing you. Again, we had the most pictures by far that we have had. So we want to thank everybody.
Thank y'all for having me.
See y'all next time. I'm gonna go through and get the rest of these pictures. So don't, y'all can go ahead and leave now. I'm gonna go grab these pictures, make sure I download them all.
I'm gonna grab the pizza.
Good.
All right, I was going to say, she just happened to take a phone call right at the end. The whole time. Trying to tell us fast when I'm in the back, like the mic is on. But